Well, hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm fine, Seno. How are things
Oh,
with you? Mhm.
I'm fine also. Alhamdulillah. Thanks God.
Mhm.
Long time not see, huh?
Yeah. Mhm.
But I just forget that our meeting is around maybe 5 or 10 years ago. I'm not sure.
More, a
More,
long
more,
time
more. Yeah.
ago. Our
Oh,
last
well,
meeting. I've been
well,
visiting you in Indonesia 3 times. So,
3 times. Yeah. 1985 and what, 90s and
yeah, 1991 and 1993. But actually, the last time was 1993. So it was a long time ago. Yeah.
yes, that's it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, this is our memories. This is a
Yeah.
New Year in my house,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we
Yeah.
try to make a
Yeah. Yeah.
satay, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this family, the
Well,
family.
Alexander and I visited in 93, your whole family, yeah?
Yeah,
Nice picture, yeah?
let's picture, okay. And also, do you remember this bag? I still keep this.
Yeah,
The
good.
keychain. This is from Sweden, from
So, yeah,
Sweden.
yeah.
Well,
Next time I have a nicer present, I promise you.
really, thank you. Well, by the way, how we can say how are you in Sweden?
Hur mår du?
What is it? Difficult, huh?
Hur mår du?
Hugh, I can't spell it. Hugh Moru.
Hur mår du?
Okay. What I remember that when you taught me, when you teach me, is about how to say I love you. That's Jorg Isgard, right?
Very good. It
Yes,
sounds
yes,
like you've
sure.
been practicing with some Swedish girls.
It's a good pronunciation. Okay, it's enough for chit chat. Yeah?
Uh,
Meg, it's good time for us to discuss something more valuable, more meaningful. Let's start with something news for me that you now is an author, right? Isn't it
yeah.
rumors or really?
Yes.
Surprising me. Yeah. Tell me
Yes,
more.
I had this idea for a book some years ago. I was working in Latin America and I had a lot of time because everybody was late for meetings. So when I was waiting for everybody to arrive at the meeting, I was starting to write this idea I had, and that became my first book,
Wow.
which
What's
is
that?
called "The Man from Albania," and it is a thriller. It is like a spy thriller, a spy story, and I had this idea a long time, and I didn't think it. I really wanted it to be published, but I didn't think it was going to be a big success because it's very hard. There's so many books
Mhm.
out, and it is. Uh, it's like the big publishers. They get 5 to 10 new manuscripts every day, and they publish
Yeah. So slowly,
slowly,
Meg, slowly, Meg, slowly,
slowly.
Meg.
Okay.
I mean that you work in Latin America. That's
Yeah.
your job on that time. Is a related
Yes.
with related with that books or not?
No, it was
No,
not
no, no.
related
Actually,
with the
right?
book.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
working as an advisor or consultant on solid waste management, so it had
Oh,
nothing
okay.
to do with the book, you
Okay.
know.
Good. Okay.
But in Latin America, as if I may say, sometimes in Asia, people are late for meetings. So I was always waiting for people to arrive at the
Yeah.
meetings, and I wanted to use that time, so I started to write a book.
Oh,
So
good.
that's how it started.
Manually on that time by hand, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Not by laptop or yeah.
No,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then of course I had to continue to work with it, and to my surprise, it was very well received. It got very good reviews in the big papers in Sweden, and it was also sold to many countries. So
Wow.
it is published in Denmark, Norway,
Denmark,
Finland,
Finland.
Germany, Holland, France, and Poland. Yeah. So this
The
is
man from
the
Albania.
German.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, but they gave it different names. But
oh,
so
sorry.
it was a big success. But I didn't want to quit the job I already had. It's too unsecure to be a writer, so I continued to work as a consultant
Yes.
and writing in my spare time. So it took a long time before I could publish my second book. It came out 2 years ago, It's called 8 Months. It's also a kind of political spy thriller,
Whoa.
and it was also well received, especially actually in our neighboring country, Denmark. It got the prize for the best translated crime story of the year in Denmark. So it has been well received.
Okay, so that your first book is about the man from Albania, right?
Yeah, but it's like
And
it's like a tricky title because it is the
why?
first book. Yeah, but the story is about that there is a man who
Oh,
comes from Albania and he has an Albanian passport, and he dies and he's murdered in Stockholm. But
oh,
then they find out that he is the Albanian authorities said, no, that man is not from Albania. We never heard of him. So there's a journalist and he starts to figure out what is this man really? And it turns out that he's actually a
it's
Swedish
about the
person who disappeared some years
hello.
ago. So that's the story. Yeah.
Okay, so interesting. That book is already translated on the many countries, right? So
Yeah.
Poland, German.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have some plan on someday to be also translated in Indonesia, maybe?
I would love that. I would love that. So I have an agent who handles all these things because writers, authors, they never handle contract things. You have to leave it to someone who is like an expert in that. And if she got a chance, if any Indonesian publisher wanted to publish it, we would be very happy. But so far that does not happen. I'm not sure that so many Swedish books are translated into Indonesian. I don't know. You know that more than me, but
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. But the Agatha Christie here is so very popular.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, with the Hercule Poirot, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So your story of that book is similarly like that, or it's a
Yeah, it's like, but it's more like a spy story, more
spy
like if you
story?
know John le Carré, Tinker Tailor, that kind of story about spies and Russia and Sweden and things like that. So it's more a story like that.
Well, can you tell me more? How then you have the idea to create a book but related to the spy? Is it not related to your experience or your expertise, right? So is it
Uh,
just come suddenly, naturally, or
I think it's two things.
yeah?
First, I always liked to read spy novels my whole life.
Oh, see, okay,
So
yeah.
and the second thing is that when I was reading spy stories, a friend of my mother said, if you always like to read spy stories, you should read about the real spies who spied for Russia and England, etc. These fascinating stories. And this is when I was a teenager, and I started to read about the real spy stories, and became like a nerdy expert, okay, on these things. And so I always have these stories in the back of my head. So the man from
See.
Albania is actually inspired by real spy stories in Great Britain, but sort of transferred to Sweden. Sort of.
Oh,
So I really like the real stories. Of course, what I write is completely fiction, has nothing to do with reality, but it's inspired by reality.
good. That I have something for you that for our viewers also. If we then have the good experience in the past, so it can impact your brain and your
Mm,
imagine, then you can develop it into anything, right? You can
yeah,
become an
exactly.
author. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Wow. So, is there any specific plan for your book for the future? You would like to produce more or change to the other topic or
No,
anything?
I'm actually working on my third book now.
Third book.
And third
Mm-hmm.
book, yeah. And it will actually be like a follow-up on the first book. So I have this plan that the second book was different from the first book, and the third book will be more similar to the first. It will be like two series: 1, 3, 5, book 2,
Oh,
4,
see.
6. So that is my
Uh-huh.
plan.
Uh,
And actually, I already promised the publishing company a third book, so I have to write a third book. So I there is I'm working on it, and I have to finish it. But it is really hard because I have a job Monday to Thursday. I work on my ordinary job, and on Fridays I write. So it's a slow process. But I took a leave of absence from my work for 3 months
Yeah.
to write to September, October, November. I was only writing. So I need to take these breaks to be able to finish the book in time. Otherwise, it will take too long time.
So for this time being, you just write down that book on your um, holiday.
Free time, yeah,
Free time,
holiday,
yeah.
exactly, yeah.
No, I
So
mean,
I have to work very hard.
really, yeah, I believe in that. But I'm not having updating for you from you that now you are working still on as a consultant on
No, yeah, I
from
am.
Monday
Exactly,
to
exactly.
Friday. Yeah.
No, from Monday to Thursday, and then
Oh, Monday
Fridays
to
I write.
Thursday.
So I work a little bit less. I have Fridays for writing, and then I have an
Hmm.
ordinary. I work for a big technical consulting company Monday to Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Busy man. But actually, what are your hope for from the readers of that book? They can gather something learned from that book, or just it's entertaining only, or what?
It's a good question. I
Mm,
think that really good entertaining also has something more. So I think that, of course, since I write thrillers, I'm in the entertainment business, okay, in a matter of speaking. But I also wanted to be to give a good picture about the people and the moral choices that people have.
moral
You know, moral
choices. Yeah.
choices.
Great.
Good. For example, my second book, 8 months, the main character was a woman, and she was working as a press secretary
Mm,
for the minister, and she knew that she was getting involved in some
secretary. Yeah.
business, some
Okay.
spy business, and she had to choose, my career or doing the right thing. And these are the kind of thing that fascinates me. And even though most people, most readers, they don't get involved in spying against the country, but they might have other moral issues. Should I go along with this, or should I stand up and do the right thing? So if they can read an exciting story and still see things in their own
Yeah.
life, it becomes both good entertainment and good literature, something like that.
See. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, but your book is a very tight, right? How many pages? That it's around
The last
400, I
book,
guess.
yeah, something like that. Let's
Yeah,
see, I don't remember. 450.
450.
Yeah.
But for the person like me, it takes around 1 week, I guess, to to read all that pages one by one.
But I also like to write short stories. So that is something else that I've been writing. When I was practicing I started to write short stories. And when my first book was almost finished, there was a big competition in Sweden for a short story about crime in Christmas time. So
Mm,
I thought, okay, I will write something like that because I needed publicity for a contest, in order to get published. So I participated in the contest and I won. And that short story was then part of this book, which is actually in English. This is a
it's a,
compilation of Swedish short stories, all the most famous living Swedish crime writers are have short stories in
so
this one. But
you
it was
write down the short
originally
stories. You write down
also
the
short
short
stories. Yeah,
stories
I also
and
write
then
short
put it
stories.
on that
Yeah. So and
magazine.
then it became part of that one, and it was it.
Okay,
So
okay.
so I also write short stories. But my main focus is the big stories, the big books. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Max, so interesting. I have learned something from you that if it's okay that you as a person having a regular job or like an employee or a consultant, but once you have talent, then you develop it so it
Yeah.
become better, right? like you
exactly.
are.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm really never. This is surprising for me that knowing you now as an author and already published in many countries. Good, salute. Yeah, salute. Yeah, because
Thank you.
I'm
Terima
writing.
kasih.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. I tried to writing also, but it is for the short what we call it, short story, or I cannot make a book consists of 400 more pages. Like
Yeah. It takes
okay.
a lot of dedication, and also I was my first book. I was rewriting it 12 times. I
Mm,
wrote it over again 12 times in order to make it better. So it's really hard work. It's
sure.
excruciatingly hard work to write, uh, and people uh, don't imagine that. Your brain is important, but your backside is also important, because you have to keep sitting down in front of the computer and not leave, and just work. And you have to set the time. Now I'm going to write for 4 hours, and then you have to commit yourself. And if nothing
Mm,
comes,
yes.
you still have to just stay committed. So it really takes a lot of stamina and a lot of dedication to write. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And when you're writing, so we use the right brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 hours
Mm,
typing and then
yeah. So
waiting
it's hard.
our
It's hard. It is
it's hard.
very hard work. It is not
Agree.
glamorous. It's not glamorous.
Well, now we change the other topic, but since you as an author also, and you are also the have the expertise and experience.
Mm.
Yes, an alumni of KTH, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Royal
Yeah,
Institute of Technology. Yeah, in Stockholm. Yeah.
yeah. So your degree is chemical engineering, technical.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So tell me, what are you doing now, and what's uh, how the world can make can be better to
Yeah.
become yeah, if you manage it better.
Right now, I'm actually, since I got a daughter 12 years ago, I'm mainly working in Sweden. Before that, I was traveling a lot
This
and
is
working in the
Matena,
Maitena, exactly. Yeah.
Matena, 12 years
So
ago.
12 years ago, she was born.
Oh,
Well, almost 13 now. And then I didn't want to travel so much. So I'm mainly
mm,
working in Sweden. Before that, I was working in many different countries. And my main specialty, I'm a little bit like a management consultant, but in waste and water and wastewater.
with
So
water. Okay.
I'm working with things that you would think that maybe someone with your background in economics would do. I mean, I'm working with organization and financing of investments for waste.
Yeah.
How can you charge people so that they are paying fees so that you get the money to collect waste and things like that? More the management system of it. So that is what I'm working with. For instance, now I'm helping different organizations in Sweden, utilities, how they can become bigger and better and provide better services. I'm helping one of the main cities in Sweden for a new system to get better control of their finances of
Yes.
waste. When people are paying the fee, how much should the fee be? Who should pay what fee so that we go break even financially? So that is actually more of economics than technical matters. But even though I have the technical background, because I always find that the organizational and
Yeah.
managerial and financial things are the biggest challenges of making the system work. You can build a treatment plant, but if you don't get the money to operate the treatment plant, then
Yes.
what do you do? What do you do? Yeah.
Well, Mike, I would like to have your point of view about Indonesia. Was that you came here for 3 times, right? So you
Yeah,
see,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
you see the fabric, or you see the river, or you see the flood.
Yeah.
What do you suggest? How do you suggest for us to make it better? The environment.
In the environment.
Yeah.
First of all, I would like to say that speaking about challenges about Indonesia, I think that Indonesia is a fantastic country, which really fascinated me and which really changed my life to see this beautiful country. So I want to start there, because in my work, I always working with problems. So it's also good to say that when I was traveling a lot, I was always taking photos about garbage in the streets.
Yes, garbage. Yeah.
And when I was in Latin America, and I was working there. I will answer your question, just to explain it. I was out in the in Honduras, and I was helping them to improve the collection of waste. So I needed to take pictures of overflowing garbage in different places. I went out to a neighborhood and I was snapping pictures of garbage everywhere. And a woman comes out to me and she screams at me in Spanish, "What do you do here, foreigner? You come here and we have mountains, we have rivers, we have old Indian castles, and you just take pictures of garbage?"
She angry with you.
I want to talk about the good things.
You spy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that actually in Indonesia, I only been as a tourist, but I've been working, as you know, in the Philippines and also in other Asian countries. I've been working in India a couple of times, and Latin America, some similarities. And I would say, I don't know if this is specific for Indonesia, but for other countries in development, that there is not so much trust in the government. I mean, the local government or the national government. So people don't really trust the government to pay the fees and to get the service done. In Sweden, we also complain about the government, and the government do a lot of stupid things in Sweden. I don't think we're perfect, but people are basically trusting the government. If you pay for garbage collection, you assume that the garbage will be collected. Okay. And another thing, which is of course a challenge, is if you have a country, this is a big thing in waste management, where there's a lot of poor people. I mean, there's been very good developments in Indonesia, but there are still a lot of poor people. So in Jakarta, how many people are in Jakarta now? 12 million or in Jakarta?
Right now?
Yeah.
12 million.
12 million, yeah. And I would just guess, I don't know this, you can correct me, but I would assume that maybe 4 million people are too poor to pay for garbage collection. Maybe. So it's a socioeconomic issue also. And you have very poor neighborhoods. And also, I don't know if this is in Jakarta, but for instance, in Latin America, you have neighborhoods which are basically illegal. The houses don't have a permission. But they still are producing a lot of garbage. Even poor people produce garbage. So how do you solve that problem? So it's also a socioeconomic problem. How do we help? Really poor neighborhoods? If you go into a rich neighborhood in Jakarta or Surabaya or wherever, it will be very clean, I think, because people are paying for garbage collection out of their own pocket to a private contractor who takes it away. So it's a socioeconomic issue also, I think.
See, yeah, agree with that. Yeah, some of my friends, they try to make to manage garbage better.
Yeah,
to produce become the nutrition for the plant or yeah. Well,
that's good.
Yeah. So in the again, based on your experience, you mentioned that Jakarta have a problem, right, about the garbage, because a big city, many population.
All big cities have,
all big city, right? Jakarta, Surabaya, and also Medan. And we have some floods also in every year when heavy rainy comes in. And now it's also Jakarta and also rainy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we do a benchmark, like as we are still in developing countries, which countries that uh, we can
Compare.
compare? Yeah, compare
Yeah.
to reflect with Philippines. No.
I think that Philippines are very similar to
Yeah.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
That is my
Because you're
impression.
there,
They
right?
have similar, yeah, they have similar problems. I also remember some of the things that I noticed when I was working in the Philippines that I also noticed. You mentioned the floods, and that is because of the rainy seasons in
Yes.
that kind of climate. You need very big ditches. I remember that from once we were when I was staying in the house of your uncle, and we were
Yes.
walking in a small alley, and I was falling down in a ditch, and it was this high, and
Yes.
it was garbage in the whole
Yeah.
ditch. So and that also I saw in Manila, that
Mhm.
since there is no waste collection,
No waste
the
collection.
not good.
Oh.
There are waste collection, but it's not good enough. Yeah, so a lot of garbage ends up in the ditches, and when the rain comes, it gets stuck there, and the city
Oh.
is flooded. I noticed that also in I also noticed that when we were working in El Salvador. So I don't really know which countries. I always had the impression that Malaysia is a little bit more developed and richer than Indonesia. Is that correct? I mean, Kuala Lumpur is a very clean city, but I
Yeah.
have not worked there. And also you can see that. Yeah, I've also been working in Thailand, actually, in Bangkok, and they have gone far, but they have similar problems. I mean, you can see some parts of Bangkok which is clean, and then you go out to some parts which has a lot of trouble. So they are not perfect either. And I think it's hard to benchmark because the problems are everywhere. So I think that the answer is that I think that there is enough knowledgeable people in Indonesia to solve the problems. You have a lot of good engineers and economists and whatever you need, management consultants. I think it's a lot of the questions is about good governance.
Agree.
I
Good
think that
governance.
yeah. So I think that if a mayor of a big city says I will make sure that this city is clean within 5 years, that is completely possible. I mean, with a political will, but it also sometimes it's also risky. For instance, I was working in India, and I was working with an NGO who did a lot of
What
recycling.
city, Mike? What city in India? Which
Uh,
city?
it was in southern India. It was in it used to be called Madras. Now it's called Chennai, the
Madras.
city of Chennai. Yeah,
Chennai. Chennai. Okay.
Chennai. Yeah, and the areas around it. So there was a non-governmental organization which had invited us to see if they could. They had started very good projects, but they
Okay.
wanted to involve the cities, not only Chennai but the smaller cities around it. And we saw that there was a good possibility here, and we calculated financially they could recycle a lot. They could actually recycle it much better than in Sweden for a number
Oh.
of reasons, because the market was better for the materials, labor was cheaper, so the labor for doing that. But the problem was that the local municipalities, they did not want to charge anyone any fees because people were not used to pay fees for that. And I said
Really?
that if you only charge people a small fee, that will make it for waste collection. That will create a financial incentive to recycle more. So you
Yes.
could actually solve the issue quite simply. And they just flat out refused. They said, if we're going to charge people for garbage collection, that means that we will lose the election. Okay, so that's what they said. And then I was explaining that, okay, we are looking at how things are working here, and all this garbage ends up in the street. So you spend a lot of money on street sweeping of things that should not have ended up in the street in the first place. So that is one example where I think that some political reforms could actually have changed the situation quite easily. But those political reforms were difficult to make. So, but I think that you are better equipped to answer this question. Could you be elected as a mayor of Jakarta if you say that I'm going to be mayor? One of the things I will do is that you all have to pay 4 times as much for garbage collection. Poorer neighborhoods get some discount, but everybody was have to pay 4 more, and you have to cooperate and leave the garbage in the right place. So you have to pay more and work more, but the city will be cleaner. Would that be a political problem in Jakarta?
Yeah. You know that. Yeah.
So you need also to sensitize people. You need people on board, and they need to see the effects of that. I think maybe if you did it in one city, maybe you did it in Malang. I remember that Malang is one of my favorite places in
Oh,
Indonesia.
you really? Batu, yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I could live
Agree
there.
with that. Yeah.
And the way I remember it, but this was in 1985, so it's a long time ago. But I seem to remember that Malang was very clean, wasn't
Malang.
it? Yeah, it was a cleaner
You said
city.
about Malang itself, or Batu. Batu is 30 kilometers from Malang. It's clean. Agree with it.
Okay, but I also thought Malang, the city of Malang, but it was a lot. I remember Malang, it was clean. It was had a very nice climate, and they have the biggest apples I ever seen in my life.
That's on Batu. Yeah, biggest apple.
That's Batu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Batu. Yeah, Batu is clean.
The best apples I eaten in my life.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Batu is produce apple so much until now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay. Well, so but the waste management right now in Jakarta is getting better, because now in Jakarta also cooperate with the near city here, Bekasi. You know Bekasi, right?
No, not
around 15 until 20 kilometers from Jakarta. And
okay.
the Bekasi government also support Jakarta to manage the garbage.
Okay.
Yeah. But since the population is getting higher and higher, of course that the local government getting headache.
What is the traffic situation in Jakarta now? Because that used to be difficult.
Well, right now there is some good policy on the traffic. Yeah. First, the busway is already applied, Meg. So,
okay.
Yeah, this for we benchmark from Colombia.
Okay. Yeah. Colombia is okay. Good.
With the busway, and then also the what we call it, the LRT, a light rapid transport.
Okay.
Is starting to build that connected Jakarta with the near city like Bekasi and also Bogor and also I forget, but Tangerang is not connected by the LRT now.
Yeah.
And the local government apply the what they called by odd and even policy. So if your policy numbers of your car, is odd, so you can use your cars on the odd date. Like today is 1st of May, right? So if your number of your car is end by even numbers,
I understand.
1, 3, you can pass away on the on that.
That's a good system. That's a smart system. Yeah. That sounds like a smart reform. Yeah.
Smart reform. Yeah, and public transport is getting better now. You see, you remember that we are together in the Metro Mini. Very yeah. So that's why then you can set up fully. Yeah. But now there is no Metro Mini anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
So that now so many bus with the aircon also.
Yeah.
You know that Jakarta is very hot, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is remain the same, that traffic or flood and pollution is
Mhm.
common from the big city like megapolitan like Jakarta.
Yeah.
But by the way, this Stockholm is smaller
Yeah,
than
Stockholm
Jakarta,
is
right?
much smaller. So Stockholm is only about 1 million people, about.
What?
Yeah, no.
Only 1 million?
Yeah, exactly. So it is much, although the 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 city is growing, but the thing is that there's not so much space that to get to build things. So it doesn't grow as fast. But and Sweden is a much smaller country. I mean, there's only 9-10 million people in Sweden, so there's fewer people in whole of Sweden than in Jakarta. It is quite a difference. Stockholm is so much smaller than Jakarta. It is a big difference. A big difference. Yeah.
So I would like to clarify now that the total of population in Sweden only 10 million. 10 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's smaller than Jakarta.
Yeah, it's smaller than Jakarta. Yeah.
Can
And
you
of
guess?
course,
Can you guess how many people? How many population in Indonesia right now?
I guess 160 million.
Oh, more than that. Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, more than that.
Uh,
You know that last year, based on the statistic from uh, trustworthy sources, more than 200 million, 270. Wow.
okay. Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
Whoa. Wow. So big,
Uh,
big
uh,
countries, big
Big country,
population.
many big cities. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a common that if the government then not easy to manage to apply the waste management or garbage or yeah,
Yeah. No, of course, of course.
for sure. Actually, now where do you live, man? It's where you stay at
I
Stockholm
live.
or
In Stockholm. I live in the quite central in an apartment
see
in Stockholm.
downtown?
Yeah, downtown
Mm.
apartment. I've been living here for a long time, but since a couple of years back, I bought a house in the country also. But I live in Stockholm, but we spend a lot of time in the countryside also.
Oh, see,
In a house which is in a really
very nice.
farming area of Sweden. So this is very nice. No cars are passing by. It's mostly
Oh yeah.
horses and tractors. And yeah. So I spend a lot of time there because I actually the house, I don't own my apartment or house in Stockholm, and it became too expensive to buy my own place because everything has become very expensive in Stockholm.
Mhm.
And then I said, no, well, okay, I can't buy my own house in Stockholm, but I can buy a house in the countryside, so we can spend the weekends and summers there. And it will be a nice thing. So I really like that place, and I grow vegetables. So now I'm this summer I will have, since I was in Indonesia and in
Okay.
Padang, I really like chili. So
Chile.
I'm growing
Really? No, no, you like a chili?
chili. Yeah. So I'm growing 6 different types of chili in out in my country house, and also coriander, so I can make Indonesian dishes with fresh coriander. And
Oh,
yeah, it's good.
see. So you still remember about rendang Padang, yeah?
Yeah, I make rendang
It's
sometimes.
spicy,
Yeah,
spicy.
yes, I make rendang, and also the spicy chicken from Padang, and I make satay, and I make different kinds of pecel. I really like
Pecel,
pecel.
yeah, pecel, yeah.
So I actually quite often make Indonesian food at home.
But sometimes that you're really crazy, man. Like, because when you remember that when my little sister wanted to make the tempe orek, that's so very hot. We
Yeah.
already mentioned to you that please be careful with that, and then you still try that. You
Yeah.
can imagine on that time that you're very feel hot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you run to the bathroom.
Yeah. But also now in Sweden we have all this kind of international foods, Indonesian, Thai, and Mexican. So people are used to that. But when I was growing up, there were no international food in Sweden. So
Okay.
I was not used to that. When I came to Indonesia in '85, I remember the first time I went into a Padang restaurant in
Okay.
Bukit Tinggi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
Really.
I was eating the food, and my eyes were
Yeah.
like this, and my nose, and it was only Indonesian people in the restaurant, and they were looking at me and laughing.
What's actually that you eat on that time? Is that rendang or meat
Rendang, and also this,
or
now I
fish or
forgot the name. There's
chicken?
like a spicy chicken, and you have
Spicy
spicy.
chicken.
Yeah,
Or maybe
I think it's called Padang chicken, so it's very
spicy chicken.
spicy.
Mm.
Yeah, and it took some time to get used to, but that changed me, because now I always want spice. I think when you start to eat spicy food, you really love it. So that is my favorite dish, is something very spicy with a very cold beer. I think that's the perfect combination.
Spicy with beer.
Yes.
Until now, you still drink beer, Meg.
Yeah, I do.
But not much, right?
Not much. No,
What
I'm
I
very,
know
very
that you have
modest.
never got drunk already.
No,
But for
I'm
the
doing, no, not. I'm not, and I'm drinking much less now to stay healthy. But sometimes one beer, two beers, something like that.
I see, okay.
Mm.
Well, now the topic become more very interesting. Yeah,
Mm.
since you are already open your our memory
Mm.
about your traveling in Indonesia. But actually, what is something a lesson learned when you visit our countries, maybe about the
Yeah.
culture or about the behavior of the community? Can
Yeah.
any more? Yeah.
Yeah, I learned a lot. That was my first big trip. It was in Indonesia. I was only 19, and that I was first decided that I want to work abroad. I want to learn about different cultures. And that was based on my fascination of Indonesia, because it was a very long trip. I was traveling for 4 months. I started in Medan, and that was where I
Yes,
met you the
Medan.
first time.
That was
And
the
then I
first time we
traveled,
met, yeah.
yeah, exactly,
And
in
the Danau Toba, yeah. Toba
Danau
Lake.
Toba.
Yeah.
And from there, I went with a bus to Bukit Tinggi and
Okay.
Padang, and then I took the boat to Jakarta, and I stayed with you at your uncle's house in Jakarta.
Yeah.
And then I traveled
No, no,
all
no,
over
no. You wearing boat from Padang on the time?
from Padang to Jakarta, yeah.
I'll see. Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I traveled around Java, and I
Yeah.
traveled around Bali, and then I traveled in Kalimantan,
To
and I was
Banjarmasin, right? Yeah.
Banjarmasin, yeah, and
Banjarmasin, yeah.
I was staying a lot with in families. Like I
In
stayed in your
family in
house or your
Banjarmasin,
uncle's
yeah.
house, yeah, and Banjarmasin I stayed in the house, and also sometimes like I was traveling in Java, Western Java, and the bus stopped. That was also something I was not used to, and the bus driver says,
Yeah.
"Well, I don't have enough passengers, so we are stopping here. You get some money back."
So
And,
what did you do then?
what do you do? And
Is
then
it
there was
something
a
on the
man.
forest or something?
Yeah, like in the forest. And then there was a man on the bus, and he said, "Okay, you can stay at our village." So he took me to the village, and that happened actually a couple of times. So I really got to what I want trying to say is that I really got a very good view of Indonesian culture, because people were very open to me. And there were not so many backpackers in '85, so people were also curious about me, and I was curious
Yeah,
about them.
yeah.
So it was an interesting learning experience. And
Like like a crazy bully come to
yeah.
country. Yeah.
And then but it was also a very good learning experience for me, because I had a lot of use for that also, I would say, even first of all personally, but also actually professionally, because I learned something about working in different cultures,
Sure.
and learning that cultures are different and how you need to adapt to them. And can I tell you a story, just to make an example of
Sure,
something
of
that I
course.
learned?
Yeah, to make it more real. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in Solo,
Solo,
and
okay. That's my
yeah,
hometown. Yeah.
yeah, and I was staying always in the cheapest hotels possible. So I was staying in a cheap hotel, and most of the people who were there were like Indonesian students or Indonesian young people. and I had like a cold, so I was not in a good mood. I was feeling really bad, and there was this very simple door, so you could hear everything in the corridor outside. And then once I woke up at, I think 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, I mean, extremely, that some guy is outside of my room, and he's playing the guitar and he's singing in 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and then I said, this cannot be for real. So and he didn't speak. I knew very little Indonesian, as you know. He knew very little English. So I was trying to like say, what are you doing? Why are you singing outside my room? And he was looking at me, this Indonesian guy, and he gave me this look like, what are you complaining about? Why are you so upset? And then at that moment, I realized, okay, so this is about culture, because in Sweden, we are basing a lot of interaction on consideration. I will not disturb you, and you will not disturb me. Okay, but in Indonesia is a very tolerant country. You base a lot of things on tolerance. So that guy with his eyes, he was telling me, I would never complain if you were singing outside my room. So why are you complaining now? So I was saying, I would be much more considerate to you. So why are you not considerate to me? And he said, I would be tolerant to you. So why are you not tolerant to me? And that really helped me, because then later on in the trip, I realized that in Sweden, well, because we are 10 million people in a big country, we have a lot of space. So we give people a lot of space. If you live on Java, if it's not Jakarta, even if it's in the countryside, there's not so much space, so you need to be tolerant. You will squeeze into the bus, you will be very close to each other, and you will have to be, so that happens to me sometimes. I was in a bus, and I was falling asleep, and someone could wake me up and, how much was your watch? How much did it cost? What? But then I really learned that, okay, people are not doing this because they don't respect me as a human being. They are used to being very tolerant of each other in a big country where people are densely populated. And then also I realized that sometimes people put you up in their home, and you were sleeping next to someone, and I said, aren't I disturbing that guy? No, he doesn't mind. You have to make room, you have to be tolerant, you have to accept intrusions in your private life. Also, I remember when we were hanging out in Jakarta, that you and your friends, you were always gathering in big groups, and you were always waiting for each other. So someone was late and you were waiting for them. And after a while, I got impatient. So I said, Seno, why don't we go ahead? And the one we are waiting for can come later. I said, no, that would be very rude. So that is also an example of that tolerance. Okay, we have to wait, but it's okay. We have to be tolerant of the person who are late. So we just wait here. While if that would have been in Sweden, some people would have gone ahead. You see what I mean? So that is something that I mentioned, that story I told you about the hotel in Solo. I've been telling that story many times. And once I was in a course before I was working for the United Nations in Africa, and we had this 3-week course in Sweden preparing people to work in different cultures. And I said, well, I have, and they asked me, you have been traveling a lot, so what is your experience? And I was telling that story and how useful it has been to me. Also, then when I was working in the Philippines, and also sometimes because I think that Indonesia is extreme, that you are so collective and you are so tolerant in that. But it's also that Sweden is extreme, and Northern Europe is extreme in the other end. Because when I go to Latin America or I go to Africa, they are more similar here to you in Indonesia than they are to Europe. So it's really also Europe which is different from the rest of the world, rather than Indonesia being different from the rest of the world. Even am I talking too fast, or it's okay?
Yeah, you tell what the story is very enthusiastic. So what I'm waiting for you that I on the end of that story on that hotel on that solo,
Yeah,
because the young man playing a guitar,
yeah.
and the very happy, the happy end story, it should be that
Uh.
you then singing together with that guy, man.
No, no, yeah. Actually, no, because I don't sing. But
And I know that
no.
you're very bad singer, right? You cannot
So,
sing.
at the end of the story, is that I realized that okay, we are in Indonesia. This is how you do it here. I will try to go back to bed and sleep, and the guy was continued to play guitar outside my room. So that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm proud of you, Mike, as a friend, that you learn so much about the culture from Indonesia. Like when we give something to others, you always remember that we cannot give by the left hand, right?
No,
We should give
exactly.
by the right hand.
Always, yeah.
It's just polite, yeah. But you learn
Mm,
more about that. So good
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Well, we we have so many experience. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember our story when we back from Cirebon to Jakarta by train?
Yes.
Yes, Cirebon Express. That's a very bad experience during my life, my friend.
Yeah.
You remember that story, Mike?
Yeah, I remember there
Yeah,
was a girl.
you living on that
I was
train.
going to get I was going to get, but I have to defend myself here. I was going to get a Coke for you or some food.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I went to buy that. And then when I went back through the train, there was
Uh-huh.
this beautiful Indonesian girl.
Yes, okay.
And she
On that
started to talk.
restaurant on
Yeah.
train, right?
And she started to talk to me.
Yeah.
And it's like this between two men. Even if you are very good friends, if there is a woman, you will always
Yeah, I know that.
prioritize the woman.
Yeah, come on
And she
then.
was very beautiful. So
Yeah.
I stopped and I talked for her to half an hour, and I forgot that you really wanted your soda. Is
You
that what
can,
you mean?
yeah, you can imagine that I'm waiting for the cook in 2 hours on that train, feeling
But you saw the
thirsty.
girl. You saw the girl. Later, you saw the girl.
But then,
She was very beautiful. She was a very beautiful girl.
oh, I know. I mean, because of your suggest to me to visit her,
Yeah,
it's around one month after that, I
yeah,
came to her house on the near in the
yeah,
Western Jakarta. Yeah, she
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you are the winner in this story.
And no, come
You
on.
are the
I don't
winner in
think
this story. you
you just a broker, man.
your soda was a little bit late, but you got a date with a beautiful woman. You should be down on your hands and knees and thank me.
Oh, come on. Come on. Waiting for cook for 2 hours, crazy.
Yeah, yeah. You got a beautiful date out of it. So
Yeah.
you were very lucky. You were very lucky.
Yes. So, but that's life, mate. Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
we can laugh, we can feel sad, like today. By the way, how about the COVID in Sweden? It's okay on there? Jakarta
The
right now,
COVID.
I guess around almost 2 million patient of COVID-19,
Really? Yeah.
1.7. But compared to the India, wow,
Yeah.
they
India
drop
seems
now. Yeah.
horrible.
How about COVID in Sweden?
I don't know the exact figures, but the Swedish government has not been good in handling COVID. So we had the most cases in all of Europe. And it has been very hard for the hospitals. And we have quite an old population. So comparatively, many older people have been dying in nursing
Oh,
homes.
see.
Yeah.
So sorry
Uh,
about it.
yeah. So, and I'm sure many people died in Indonesia too. So it's been really hard, and we have a complete lockdown. So I've been working from home for a year. I haven't been at the office for a year. Like most people have an office job, they work from home
Mhm.
now, and Vaccination has been. I got my first shot this Thursday, 2 days ago. I got the first
First vaccine.
first vaccine. Yeah. But I really had to fight for it hard. So it's been really
May I know what kind of vaccine that you already what
Pfizer vaccine.
Pfizer.
Yeah, Pfizer vaccine.
I'm from Sinovac. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yes, you also got one. Yeah, that's good.
To second already.
You got second. Okay.
Already around 2 weeks ago. Thanks God. Yeah.
So you see that Indonesia is ahead of Sweden because you and I are the same age. So Indonesia is ahead of Sweden.
No. I'm
here.
younger than you. I'm 25. Okay, just kidding. Okay.
You stay young. You stay young because all of the dates that I'm arranging for you on trains. So that's why you stay young.
You back to that story crazy. No. Biologically, we are more than 50, right? Biologically.
Yeah.
But psychologically, we're still 25, right?
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree with you there. Yeah.
Okay, so vaccine. How about vaccine? And then now you every day is doing a work from home, or
I work from home every day. Yeah.
every day.
So.
But there is no lockdown policy. Actually,
no, Sweden was very slow in lockdown, but the company I work for, they were quite fast. So suddenly we got an email, don't come. That was more than a year ago. Don't come into the office. And I've been twice to fix my computer sometime or pick something other up. But otherwise I'm working from home all the time, and people are getting much more used to working with Teams or Zoom. It's okay, but it's boring. It's boring to be, and I find it. Do you work from home also, or
yes,
do you go to the
day by day?
And I find it very harder every day to go up in the morning. It's when you just go 10 meters from your bed to your kitchen to your desk. It's very boring, I think. Yeah,
agree with that. So that's why that one of my activity with my best friend Rosani tried to make some specific channel in YouTube.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and I hope that our conversation today is not finished in today. You can do more another topic, interesting topic, right?
I hope so, and I really want to. I really want to visit Indonesia again.
Sure, really.
I hope. Yeah, I want to do that, and I want to bring my daughter when she is bigger, and I want to just to go back to some of the places that I really like. I really like Surakarta, and I really like Solo, and I like Malang, and visit you in Jakarta, of course, and just go around. Mainly Java, but maybe also then I was also visiting later with Alexandra. I visited Sulawesi. So we traveled on Sulawesi for 2 months, and I really liked that. It was very interesting. How are things in Sulawesi now? I know there were some tensions before between different groups in Sulawesi. Is that better now? Christian, Muslims, things like that in Sulawesi, or is that okay now?
It's okay already, no problem. But actually, what cities that you visited with Alexandra on that time? Is that Manado or Makassar?
Yeah, we went all over. So we started in Ujung Padang.
Ujung Pandang. Now we call it Makassar. Yeah. Ujung Pandang. Yes. Okay.
Oh, okay. And then we went to a very little visited place. So we went to the east, where it goes down like this.
Palu.
I don't have the map. I forgot the name now, but actually we went all over the island for 2 months. We went all over, and we also went to that place in with this very special culture that you have in the mountains of
what is it? Toraja, maybe.
Toraja, yeah. So we spent a lot of time there.
Toraja, yeah.
Toraja, yeah.
Yeah, it's around 8 hours from Ujung Pandang or Makassar.
Yeah. So we went there, and we did a lot of walking in the mountains, and then we went to Manado, and we also stayed in a lot of very interesting nature in Sulawesi. Very beautiful
Yeah.
nature. Yeah. It's so varied. You have mountains, you have sea, of course, all over it. It's a very fascinating place. Yeah. Mm.
Well, Mike, I would like I will let you know that now it's already highway from Jakarta to Surabaya,
Oh yeah. Mm.
and the highway also have a route to Surakarta or Solo.
Okay. Oh.
By that
Mm.
highway, we can drive only, but if we continue drive, it's only 6 until 7 hours.
Oh really? Mm.
But before that, we need around 12 until 13 hours.
Mm.
Mm. So if you really would like to visit in Indonesia again, it's
Yep.
very interesting if you then come to Jakarta first. Then we will go by my car to Solo. Ah,
Yeah.
it's a nice, good idea.
It's a very, so I really like Solo. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. Most,
No,
I
no, no.
like
You lie on me. You lie on me. You just missed that guy, the playing guitar guy on that your hotel. I'm kidding, man.
Then I actually, the second time I went there, your sister was studying in Solo, and
Yes,
I went there
Dini.
with your other sister, Vanti, and we traveled to Solo together to visit her.
Yes, yeah, my little sister Dini is get study in Solo.
Yeah,
UMS
and she's the,
Universitas 11 Maret, ya, Universitas Negeri 11 Maret, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we visited Dini, and Vanti and I, and I was staying at the, I think the same hotel, and Vanti was staying with Dini.
Yes,
How is Dini and Vanti? Are they fine?
they find one thing now. Stay and living at Batam Islands.
Oh, okay. Mm.
Okay, and married with Diza, the doctor.
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah, you
doctor. Yeah.
remember? Yeah,
Mm.
that guy. Uh, that guy. Mm. Very good.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The tall guy. Tall
The
guy.
tall guy, yeah,
Yeah.
119 centimeters. And then having already one son and one daughter.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
then
Good.
good for her. Her first son is get a scholarship in the Thailand
Oh,
and
really?
already graduated from
Oh.
something like technical also,
Oh.
geological.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
And Vanti is a forester, I think.
Yes,
Forestry. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, alumni from the Bogor Agriculture Institute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dini now work for Excel, the
Yeah.
cellular phone. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dini now work for Excel, living
Oh,
on
good. Yeah.
the Bintaro is near Jakarta, southern of Jakarta, near
Oh,
Tangerang.
you must send them my regards.
Oh, of course. And then I
Mm.
will show that this recording also from YouTube
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
them. Yeah, okay. Well, Mac, we talk about, we talk to many things. I think I would like to summarize first before we close this, I don't know, conversation or this chatting, okay?
Yes. Mm.
Yep. I learned so much from you. I hope that the viewers also get a lesson learned that first, if you have talent, like you as an author, just try and to apply and to realize your talent. It can push you become someone like you. So that is so surprising again that you are chemical engineering, but now you have the talent become author. Okay.
Mm.
And then secondly, about the garbage and environment, we should starting the things for the small thing from our side, right, Mike? You agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
just putting garbage on the nice right place and then keep clean and etc. And the third thing I learned from you that we should learn much from others, like
Mm.
different countries, different culture. Like you learn from Indonesia that Indonesia is a very tolerant countries and culture, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I saw learn from your country that to reading a book become is more good habits for us.
Mm.
Yeah. That's Bule or foreigners or Swedish like you is a very good in reading a book, but not in Indonesia. It's not common. Yeah. By the way, can I have your book by the ebook or something? Or I should buy that or?
Well, it is this. There are some of which are in ebook, but not the ones which are in. They are in Swedish then, or
Oh,
rather,
Swedish.
yeah. So they are, it doesn't exist in English and not in Indonesian. But in ebook, I think they can be downloaded wherever you do that in Indonesia. Otherwise, I will bring you a copy of this one when I get to Indonesia, or this one, which is in English. But
Sure.
there's
Okay.
not an ebook. I will bring it to you when I visit you in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you. And
Okay.
yeah, I would like to speak honest to you. You already sent me the ebook about the men from Albania on the times, but then my computer is then attacked by virus, and then or the data already
Okay.
gone. So
Okay. So did I send it before? I forgot. Okay.
yeah, but that's an ebook.
Okay.
But it's on still on Swedish, not English.
Yeah. So we don't. So it doesn't exist in English, I'm afraid.
Okay.
When it is translated in English, I will make sure you get a copy.
Okay, or maybe we can do something, a big project on next time. If you allow us to translate your book on Indonesia, maybe I can find out the sponsorship or something. Is it possible from your
Yeah.
agent to publish
It
in
is
here?
possible with my agent, but I think that it is. She mentioned that it is quite hard to sell rights to Asian countries because there's not so much interest in the Swedish books in Asia. But I'll mention it to her again.
Okay. Okay, Meg, there is something closing statement for you, or maybe about hope, maybe about message, moral message for us, for Indonesian people about
More
anything. Yeah,
just to tell you your viewers in Indonesia that congratulate them to living in a very fascinating and beautiful country, which has so many interesting cultural things, such nice people, great food, fantastic nature. So be proud of your country.
Thank you, Meg. Thank you. We can accept it, this. Okay, again, thank you for your time. Now it's around 6 o'clock on at Jakarta. We prepare to break our fasting.
Yes.
Yep.
Are you fasting now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we should do a fasting until April of 12. The Idul Fitri Makarim is around 13 of May. Yeah. We will celebrate that.
Okay.
Again.
Okay. Again, thank you so much for having me.
How can I say thanks in Swedish?
Tack.
Pardon?
Tack.
Det är difficult. Tack.
Terima kasih, Seno.
Okay. Tack, Magnus. See you on the other opportunities with the other topics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Wait. But after we close this conversation, just stand by for a while. Maybe we can take picture together.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Yeah.